welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a chilled video. We're going to do a chat. I haven't done one for a little bit, and I do enjoy my Wizarding World chats, talking about, you know, different things about the Wizarding World, different characters, families. Obviously today's video, you've seen the thumbnail and the title, is all about the Weasleys and things you might not know. But today I feel like getting lost for a bit in the Wizarding World and talking about one of my favourite Wizarding World families. We all love the Weasleys. There's not a bad word we could say about them, maybe except Percy. So grab a drink and listen to me talk about the Weasleys. And if this is the first time you're seeing this face, hello and welcome to my channel. If you would like to become a Poppet with us, please click that subscribe button and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a video. All my social medias are linked in the description of this video. Go see what I'm up to on those. And guys, I am trying my hardest to get to my next big milestone of 2,000 subscribers. So I'd really appreciate you considering hitting that subscribe button. And also, I would like to give a massive thank you to my Patreons. They help me keep this channel running just that little bit more. If you'd like to know any more about Patreon, that's also linked in the description of this video. Go check it out. If you think it's for you, then come join us. Let's talk about the Weasleys. Okay, so decades before the story of Harry Potter begins, the Pure Blood Directory was written. Now, this book designated the 28 families in the Wizarding World who could still claim pure blood heritage. That meant that their blood had not mixed with Muggle blood at all. The Weasleys were among those families in this book, along with people like the Blacks and the Malfoys. These families were also known as the Sacred 28. Now, the Weasleys were known as blood traitors. Now, because the Weasleys are so accepting and, you know, they quite accepted Muggles and, you know, things like that, the other pureblood families class them as blood traitors because of this. The Weasleys live near a fictional English village, but it is named after a real place. Ottery St Mary is an actual village near Exeter. The fictional village of Ottery St Catchpole is home to the Weasleys, the Lovegoods and the Diggories. The lovely Julie Walters that plays the absolutely amazing and lovely Molly Weasley was nearly in every film. Yes, I said nearly. She was cut from the Goblet of Fire because they felt that her scenes were dragged. That's really horrible to say about Molly. Poor Molly. She doesn't make things drag. Molly's lovely and loving and we love her. Poor Molly. Poor Julie Wells. Imagine that. You know, filming these scenes and they just cut them. All that hard work gone. Well, cheers. After the Battle of Hogwarts, Harry and Ron both became Aurors. Now, Ron only lasted a few years and then went to go work with George in Weasley Wizard Weasleys. I have said this before in a video, but I just think it's so lovely. So lovely. Let's talk about the Burrow. Now, the Burrow has to be one of my favourite houses, buildings, whatever you want to call it, within the Wizarding World story of Harry Potter. We all love the Burrow. It's the look of it is just so unique. We all love it. It's such a strange shape. It's a mess, but it's a home. And it's one of the best homes in the Wizarding World. And Arthur built it. He built the house. Instead of using normal materials to build the house, Arthur used Muggle scrap. Now, Arthur has for a long time been obsessed over Muggle things, and the house he built really tributes to that. The house is actually built out of scrap that not even Muggles could find use for. Good old Arthur, he did. I mean, come on, he managed to recycle absolutely useless scrap to make a home for his family. He built a house for his family. Babe, why don't you build us a house? One of the greatest inventions that we all know and love and find so interesting is Molly Weasley's clock. The purpose of that clock is so that Molly knows where each member of her family are at that moment. But when Lord Voldemort returns, each point hand of the clock, you know what I mean, they all point to mortal peril. This suggests that no matter where the Weasleys go, because of Lord Voldemort's return, they're always going to be in danger no matter where they are. Let's not forget, you know, Voldemort's going to know that the other pureblood families have named the Weasleys blood traitors. Voldemort hates muggles. And yeah, so he's going to hate the Weasleys. So they're in quite a bit of danger. They were definitely in quite a bit of danger when he returned. This was quite a fun little fact. So Oliver and James Phelps, who obviously played Fred and George, actually skipped school on the day of their audition. They skipped school so that they could go audition. I mean, obviously they got the part, so it's great in that, but let's face it, that part was made for them from the start. Okay, going back to the Burrow, all that hard work, time and effort that Arthur obviously took building that amazing house, it was burnt down in the movie The Half-Blood Prince. Now, we never, obviously, later on throughout the films, the house is back. It's restored. Obviously, there's the wedding and everything. The house is there. Obviously, we know they're magic and they would have restored it with magic. It's all fine. It's all fine. But I just feel that they shouldn't have cut that out. It's like they thought that was a mistake, that they did that and just sort of ignored it and made the house again. Not, I don't mean the Weasleys, I mean obviously the producers, directors, blah, 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 blah. It's like that's what happened. But that house is a very known, loved house. We all love that house. And it would have been so much better to have seen them restore it. Because that scene when the Burrow burns down, it gets me every time. It's Molly's face, because she's always smiling, and her little face, it's her family home. It's where she, you know, she's brought up her children. It's so many memories in that house. And it was such a sad scene. So from it to go burning down, and, you know, I'm not the only one that felt the upset in that scene. But then all of a sudden the house is back. So it's like, oh, it's back. But yeah, we don't actually see that restored. I don't know if anyone's noticed it. We don't see it restored. And I do think we were owed that to see the restoration of Arthur Weasley's masterpiece. Did you know that not every Weasley played Quidditch, but a Weasley played every Quidditch position for Gryffindor? Ginny was a chaser. Fred and George were beaters. Our good old Ron was a kipper. And Charlie was a seeker. This goes to show that the Weasleys must have some talent for flying going through that family, just because so many of them were able to get on the Quidditch team. And let's not forget Ginny. She became a professional Quidditch player after the Battle of Hogwarts for the Harpies. Oh my gosh. Holyhead Harpies. Is it Holyhead or Holyhead? Holyhead? One of them. You know what I mean. But yeah, she became a professional Quidditch player. So the Weasleys are great flyers. Did you know that Ron Weasley was nearly killed off? J.K. Rowling made a promise to herself that she'd never kill off any of the trio. But during a time of severe depression, she nearly killed off Ron. How could you? During the events of Order of the Phoenix, J.K. Rowling nearly killed Arthur off. Arthur off. What is wrong with you? Have you got something against the Weasleys? She went against killing Arthur off because she wanted Ron to stay light-hearted. But it doesn't end there. She decided to delay Arthur's death, playing God. You can't just play God, but she decided to delay his death, and he was then meant to lose his life in the Battle of Hogwarts. Again, obviously he didn't, but Fred did. You have really got something against the Weasleys. Okay, so whilst we know Ginny was the only female that Molly and Arthur had together, Ginny was actually a streak breaker. Go on, Ginny. She was the first female to be born within the family for several generations. Okay, so this one might not come as a surprise to you, but it might be something you didn't know. Fred and George were actually born on the 1st of April, also known as April Fool's Day. Honestly, them two, from birth, we knew they're going to be pranksters, born on April Fool's Day. Okay, last one for today, guys. Ron's grandmother was part of the Black family, and she was also put on the Black family tapestry. Although, unfortunately, her face was scorched off it. Yes, Arthur Weasley's mother, Cinderella Weasley. Cinderella, is that how you say it? Well, that's how we're going to say it now. But her name used to be Cinderella Black until she married into the Weasley family. Unfortunately, though, she was soon disowned by her family, the Blacks, because obviously she's a Weasley. She's married into that family, and they're known as blood traitors. So she was completely disowned, and her face was burnt off the tapestry. Well, there you have it, guys. There are some things that I wanted to talk about. I love the Weasleys so much. I think they're probably one of the families that I love talking about the most. I love doing these talking videos. You know, I'm a Harry Potter fan after all. I love talking about Harry Potter, and I love discussing it with you guys. I'm going to say it again. Talk to me in the comments. Let me know if you know anything about the Weasleys that I haven't reeled off. Excuse me. Talk to me about the ones that I have reeled off. Did you know any of these? Are any of these a surprise to you? I love talking to you all in the comments. Talk to me. Talk to me. But yeah, guys, that is the end of today's video. Please give it a massive thumbs up if you enjoyed it, because it helps me more than you know. And I will speak to you in my next video. Bye, Pots Poppets.